from Grandma Rose's Open Pantry, and today I'm going to show you how I make green beans and potatoes, and I'm going to put onions in it. These are fresh potatoes that I just dug out of the ground, and they are naturally small potatoes. Every once in a while you'll get a big one, but most of them are smaller, and that's what I like. I always like the small ones to go in my green beans, and when I was growing up we called these new potatoes, but some of them were red, some of the potatoes were red, and I've got a little thing wrote out for me on these potatoes. These are lower carb potatoes that we planted this year because we don't eat many potatoes at all because they're so high in carbs. Well, the name of these, you have, I think he wrote down three different kinds. These are called Spud Light, and there's a Charisma, there's a Zorella, there's a Galicious, not delicious, but Galicious. There's several different varieties that you can get of these. Potato is like 37 grams per serving. Your Galicious is 10 grams of carbs, 10 carbs per serving. And the Zorella, it's 8.9 carbs per serving. So that's the reason he ordered these for us, so we could eat potatoes. So this is our first little mess that we've got out of the garden, and I especially wanted the small ones to go in my green beans. And y'all saw me on the intro pick some of these long beans. So the way I do them, I've already got some. Now these, I just snapped them. Now I left a couple of them long, but I'm going to stir fry these. And y'all know how I do mine. I put them in the my pan here, put my seasonings, put a lid on it, and cook them for about 15 minutes. Then I take the lid off and I season them. Now, because I don't cook them so long, I'm going to put my potatoes in when I put them on, so my potatoes will get done. And when I start to stir fry, then I'm hoping that my potatoes are going to get a little brown crust on them. So we're going to see how it works out. But I just take and cut them about this long, these long beans like this, about this long, and it's easier for me just to take a knife because they're so long. I could snap them, but it's just easier for me to do them this way than it is to spend time snapping them. And when I start getting to this end, and they're not all the same size, then I just pick them up, snap that little end off. Like some of them are a little bit shorter than others, so I just snap that little end off, put them in my pan. All right, that's now. My other beans, like, hold on. Like these beans, y'all saw me picking some of them. I just snap that little end off. The long ones, I'll snap in half. The ones this length, I just put in there whole. So I'm going to get these all washed up. I'm going to get my potatoes ready. And I haven't decided if I'm going to leave the peeling on them or not. I've never cooked these, so I don't know whether the peeling will come off when I'm cooking them. I've got to decide what I'm going to do with those. Okay, I just wanted to show y'all. This is what I decided to do with my potatoes. I've got a little stainless steel scraper here, and I'm just going to pick mine up. Now, Mama used to take a knife and scrape hers, but I'm just scrubbing them like this to get a little bit of that peeling off and any dirt that might be left on them. And let me show you the difference. Okay. This one is one I've scraped. That one that still has some of the peeling on it. So I'll just take my little scraper and I'll just scrape some of that peeling off. That way, if you peel them, you get a lot of your potato. If you scrape them like this, it's just so much better because, especially when they're small like this, because you have more potato. So I'm just going to finish scraping these. Then we're going to get our green beans on. Okay, let me slide y'all back just a little bit so I don't cut my head off. All right, I've got my green beans here, and as you can see, I put a little ham in them. I had some ham in the refrigerator that was left over from when I cooked. So the way I'm going to do this today is I'm going to use a little bacon grease. That's about a tablespoon of bacon grease, and I'm going to use about uh, probably 2 good tablespoons of butter. All right, I'm going to put 2 teaspoons of minced garlic. Now, I had some onions cut up. They're chopped onions. The way I like, and they needed using, so I'm using them today. But the way I like to do my onions is like this. This is a small onion. I usually peel it, cut it in half, cut it in quarters, and then just chop it up. And that's the way I did that one. So, and that's probably all the onion that I'm going to put. Now, I deliberately went out and tried to find the smallest potatoes because I like to put them in whole. So, and y'all saw me scrape them a little bit ago. So I'm going to put them in whole. And I'm not sure how long it takes these potatoes to cook. I'm putting my burner on medium high. The ones that I want them all about this size. So the ones like this, I'm just going to cut in half. Like this. Okay, and when I do that, I got to cut that end off. Sometimes you'll get it'll be a little green. So you just cut that end off like that. And I'm going to cut this one in probably, it's got a little bad place, so I'll just cut it out. But I'm trying to get it about the same size. So I'm just cutting it up about the same size as my others. That's up to you, just however you want it. Okay? Now, I have this on, I got to do salt and pepper, y'all. All right. This is to your taste. And I'm just going to leave it just like this. I'm not going to stir it up or anything until it starts cooking. Then when it starts cooking, I'm going to stir it up really well, get my butter, my bacon grease, my onions all incorporated real good. But this is going to take, a few minutes for it to come up to temp and to get cooking real good. So, okay. Now, if y'all noticed, I did not put any water in these at all because there's enough water in the green beans and natural water in the green beans and the potatoes. Now, let me move this a little bit. There you go. Now, I'm just stirring this all up so it can get the garlic, the seasonings all over it. All right. I'm going to bring you over and show you. See all that? See that liquid in there? See that juice? All right, I'm going to put the lid back on it. I'm going to let it cook until my green beans get tender, probably 10 more minutes. And I think my potatoes will be almost done by then. And then I'm going to take the lid off. I've got it on 5 right now, which is medium on my stove. I'll let it cook on medium for 10 more minutes or so. Then I'll take the lid off and I'll kind of stir fry them down. But when I get to that point, I'm going to bring y'all back and let you see what they look like after when they get tender, and then what they look like when I start to stir fry them. Okay, our green beans are beginning to get tender. My potatoes are tender, so I have turned them up to 8, which is medium high, and I'm going to let them stir fry for just a little bit. So this whole process takes less than 30 minutes, and this is fresh green beans. I have seen my mama cook fresh green beans for an hour and 15 minutes in boiling in a pot of water. That's the way that she used to do it, and she put her potatoes in there. So, but this is less than 30 minutes, so we're gonna be tasting of these in just a little bit. Okay, I want to show y'all. That is my freshly dug new potatoes out of the garden, and my green beans out of the garden. Delicious. I'm going to taste of them out of here. Roy, you want to taste, baby? Huh? Okay. I want to show y'all my plate for lunch. This is all I want. This is all I'm going to eat right here. I don't want any meat. I don't want any bread. All I want is this right here.
Well, I'm working off camera because I'm too sweaty.
All right, wait a minute. You see that? Fresh green beans, potatoes, peppers, cucumbers, and tomatoes. Straight out of the garden.
Picked them
this morning.
Oh.
Every bit of this. So.
Hold it.
You're not going to do it on camera?
I'm too sweaty.
Oh.
But lands of mercy, who can pass up the first green beans and potatoes?